Boom, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy Deshaun, otherwise known as Snail Detention, but you guys can just call me Zabu. Welcome back to another Afro Podcast episode. I appreciate everybody for being so patient and waiting so long for me to finally freaking drop this stupid piece of garbage, but I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys have been keeping up to date with the Modern Warfare campaign playthroughs and whatnot, we've been having a blast on this channel, and I've actually been a little more consistent lately, so you better watch out. It's, it's a whole new year, new me crap, even though we're in freaking November, but shout out to freaking daylight savings time because we gained an extra hour and I feel so much more energized because of it. Like, I took a fat nap after work. I woke up like super energized and it was only like 1. It was crazy. Anyway, we got a podcast chock full of content and things to talk about. This might be one of my favorite podcasts I've done this far. So I hope you guys are ready to talk music and chop it up with me. We obviously have a bunch of albums to review and my thoughts on. Now, I'm not going to go too in depth on a couple of them because I only gave them 1 to 2 full listens. But I'm just going to tell you about my initial reactions when I think about them in general. I have some music that was sent to me by a coworker. And then I also have my friend who makes music. He wanted me to review his music as well. And we're going to have a brutally honest review on that and kind of dive in, give some constructive feedback and some things I liked about it, and there's just a whole lot of stuff, and of course we're going to answer questions asked by you guys. So without further ado and without stalling anymore, let's get into the Afro Podcast. Right off the rip, I have what I think is kind of a hot take, but to me it makes sense because this is just truly how I feel. I think 2022 is the best single year for music released in that year, meaning all the music we've gotten that have released this year have been absolute banger slaps. There's plenty of classics, plenty of good moods and feelings, and just all these different things we've been provided. And if you don't believe me, let me list off all the albums that I enjoyed. So this is just me. A lot of you guys might enjoy a lot of these, might not like some of these. I'm going to just run you through the list of all the music we've gotten thus far. Starting off, obviously, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers by Kendrick Lamar. Also, The Heart Part 5, the single, is probably my favorite song of the entire year just because it has such a huge emotional impact. The lyrics were tight, the rhyming was amazing, the sample and the beat switch, taking the drums out and just hearing that dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, you just hear Kendrick breathing. The music video was like next level, like simple but amazing and impressive, and I feel like he really helped us really cope with the loss of Nipsey and Kobe Foley with the lyrics he put in there, so absolutely amazing. The Forever Story by Jid, that was just an amazing album. It's Only Me by Lil Baby, which is no bad songs, but as an album, it's not a great album. It's more of just like a playlist somebody made of Lil Baby songs they like, but it's still okay. Honestly, Nevermind by Drake, a lot of people hate it. I like some of the songs on there. I haven't really revisited a whole lot, but I'm still a pretty big fan of it. Her Loss by Drake featuring 21 Savage. Notice how I said not Drake and 21 Savage. It's featuring 21 Savage. We'll get into that later, trust. God Did by DJ Khaled. I mean, you have like freaking Jay-Z's verse, which is like dang near verse of the freaking year. And then even Lil Wayne's a little bit he got in there. He jam-packed that thing full of like, just like, oh, like bars that make you just go, Even Rick Ross starting off the track was amazing. I also enjoyed the little Migos song on there and some other song I can't remember off the top right now. But shout out to them for sampling Party All the Time by Eddie Murphy. We also have freaking 10 by Westside Gunn. We'll be talking about that album as well. That just recently dropped. Smithereens by Joji, which we will be reviewing later. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys right now, it's an absolute masterpiece. If you don't watch any more of the podcast, the one thing you should take away is listen to Smithereens by Joji. Dawn FM by The Weeknd, that was earlier this year. An absolutely amazing album. Probably the best experience I've had listening to a brand new album. Because it was myself, my lady in the background, you may be able to see her. Oh, there she is. Here and there a little bit. She's on her phone playing Clash Royale. And a couple of our friends, we listened to Dawn FM, and it was just like such a vibe. It was amazing. Such a good album. I re-listened to it a couple days ago. Amazing. Amazing. Also, shout out to freaking, what's his name? The comedian that was on there, babe. What's his name? Jim Carrey. For absolutely going crazy on that freaking, dude, oh my God. His like whole speech at the end of the album was shaking a lot of people to their core. That was crazy. Jesus Christ. Not Tight by Dami. It's Dami or Domi, but I'm pretty sure it's Dami and JD Beck, which is a little jazz duo that Anderson .Paak has signed over to his label or under him or whatever, and they made an absolutely super slept on, probably the most slept on and underrated album of the year, infusing jazz and hip hop in a really like distinctive and powerful way, and makes me excited for their future. We also have 2000 by Joey Badae, who is absolutely freaking slaughtered the heck out of that album. Made me go back and listen to 1999 by him. Love that album, but 2000s I like a little bit more. But it was such a surpriser album for me. I never heard anything from him, and that made me a fan. So good on him for that. Gemini Rights by Steve Lacy, which I've never heard Steve Lacy before, but that was my first album, and I fully enjoyed that whole project. No skips on that. It's not something I revisit a lot or have in any playlists, but every time I feel like listening to an album I haven't heard in a while, I throw that on, and I enjoy myself front to back. We have Apartment 505 by Coast Contra, who, by the way, they've also been absolutely murdering their freestyles on YouTube, constantly evolving them with plenty of what the freak, bars. And they put the lyrics at the bottom of the screen so you can read what they're saying. And there's a lot of, like, you know, second meanings or double entendres and like flows. And one of my favorites was the scenario one they did, because they brought the energy and everybody was just so animated and getting it. It was amazing. So check out Coast Contra. Vinyl Days by Logic, an album where he finally came back to being good. Like, he made a classic in terms of his discography. So Logic absolutely ripped that freaking album to pieces. It was amazing. There's a lot of good songs on there. And even the song he did with Russ, who's like kind of hit or miss, I thought the instrumental on that was really good. And I thought they did okay. It wasn't my favorite song of the year, but it was still pretty enjoyable. We got 12 Karat Toothache by Post Malone as well. So Posty, another one of my favorite artists, dropped. That album was kind of forgettable for because it's definitely not like Beer Bungs and Bentleys or maybe Stony, I don't know. And Hollywood's Bleeding, I like those a little bit more than 12 Karat Toothache, but still a good album. I enjoyed it all. I just haven't been in a posty mood lately. I don't know. But I'm always in the mood for the song Stay. That'll always be in my freaking brain. You got D-Day, Against the Grills mixtape by Dreamville and J. Cole. I mean, what the freak? Like, that was fire. There was some songs on there that J. Cole was sounding a little like not interested in rapping. It was like kind of like, okay, that was kind of whack. But then he ripped his one song on there, his one single off there. I can't remember exactly what it was called. I'm trying to remember, but I don't remember it. I think Ari Lennox had a song on there which was absolutely just amazing. Like, what the freak are you on? And there were some other songs in there I enjoyed. So overall, for all you Dreamville J. Cole fans, they dropped this year. Melt My Eyes, See Your Future by Denzel Curry, which has two of my favorite songs of the whole year. And trust me, when we get to the end of this year, I will be ranking all, like, my top 10 songs. Somehow I'm going to try to do all kinds of ranking lists for the year. And that's going to be difficult because there's so many freaking albums I'm going to have to go back and listen to. But yeah, that album is absolutely amazing. I wasn't a fan of the deluxe that much, but the song, the Melt Session '01 going into... why am I forgetting the name of the song? What? Walkin'. Like, the first two songs of the album are so amazing. They're so cohesive because they literally, like, fade into each other. But, oh my god, it's so good. Please listen to that. Please listen to those two songs. Go to Denzel Curry. It's the big album with, like, it's like his face and it's all blue. Just press play, listen to Melt My Eyes, and go right into Walkin'. It's a great listening experience. The rest of the album is okay, but those two songs are crazy. You also have, I believe it's pronounced Tana Talk 4 by Benny the Butcher, who, Benny the Butcher is, like, the song he had with J. Cole off there, which was, frick. What was that song? Dude, I did not write down my notes as well as I thought I did, but they have a song on there. It's really, really good. But Benny the Butcher is fire, bro. Every time I hear him spit, it's just like, he has so much, like, freaking attitude in the way he raps. He's like another underrated artist, low key, that I really enjoy. I enjoyed the album, and I can't wait to hear him drop again. Every time he drops a project, from this point on, I'm going to be listening for sure. And then these are also just take Marianne's word for it here. Age, Sex, Location, or ASL by Ari Lennox, she said was an absolute banger of an album. I have listened to it, so take her recommendation on that. Wasteland by Brent Faiyaz. Did I say that right? Faiyaz, yeah. She said that was an absolute banger of an album as well. What did you say about it? You said it was like, what? Cinematically good, according to Anne, the boy Anne. And then also, apparently Breezy by Chris Brown, but we'll get into that later. Somebody asked me about that. And we still have What Had Happened Was by Dram, which hasn't released yet. That's coming up soon. King's Disease 3 by Nas. That's coming soon. Meek Mill's dropping an album I can't remember the name of, but okay, if you're a Meek fan, woohoo. Offset's supposed to have an album, but with the passing of Takeoff, that probably will be delayed or something. Rest in peace, Takeoff, by the way. We lost a legend. I'm not even a big Migos fan. I'm not going to sit here and act like I listen to all their songs. He's one of my favorite rappers. I'm not going to sit here and cap. But he's still a legend in his own regard. I recognize what he's done for rap. And, just, it's sad to see rappers like that go. But Shout out to all that. So we have all those albums in just this year alone, you guys. So I don't know a year that's more packed full of different sounds and content. And realize these are only albums I've heard or been suggested to listen to. So there's probably even better albums in the house and dance party scene or the rock or all these other like areas. I mean, last year was pretty good because we had the off season, we had Silk Sonic, we had CLB was kind of meh. Donda was cool, and some other albums, but this year to me is just absolutely packed with classics and amazing stuff. So now let's get into reviewing some of those albums and my thoughts about them. I highly recommend you guys listen to all of the albums I'm about to talk about right now. If you would like to, you could also listen to what I have to say about it here, then go listen to it for yourself and just let me know in the comments if you agree or what you thought about them. But I highly recommend giving all these a listen. It's great. Like, just give yourself like an hour or an hour and a half per album and just go do something that's not too mind consuming. Like, go play Minecraft and chill, or play 2K, or write or draw, or even just sit and watch the rain outside your window. Go on a drive, but gas is kind of expensive, so maybe not do that. Maybe go sit in your car and listen to it. But let's start off first by Love for Rent by Smino. Now, I never listened to an album or I think a song from Smino, and if I have, I wasn't like, oh, so this is Smino. I had no idea going in. But J. Cole posted a clip of them, the song they have together on Smino's album. He's like, oh, my boy Smino dropped a new album. Go check it out. And all I had to do was hear a little bit of J. Cole's part. And I was like, okay, I'm going. I got it. I went there. I was very pleasantly surprised. It's a kind of concept album. I don't know about concept, really. I guess it's more of a cohesive album where each song kind of strings together. And it just felt like I was kind of floating through clouds, just enjoying this really interesting hip hop and rap sound. You can tell this is definitely like, somebody that J. Cole would have in his circle. Smino's dope. I really enjoyed the album. This is a really good first project hearing from this person, so I might go back and listen to more of their discog, but absolutely amazing album. I think it was really interesting. If I had to give it a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give that maybe like a pretty strong 8. Because there wasn't anything I would skip, anything I didn't like. I just need more time listening to it. I only listened to it probably fully one time and then about halfway 2 times while I was sitting here writing notes for this like 30 minutes ago. And I don't know, we were just kind of chilling. We were vibing, like me and little Ann back there. We were just chilling, just kind of grooving, especially with it raining, it being cold outside. It's such a good freaking vibe for the album. So shout out to that. We also got 10 by Westside Gunn, which Marianne suggested to me that I listen to. I wouldn't have even listened to it at all, but I'm glad she suggested it because Westside Gunn comes with like a really interesting delivery in the way he raps. The intro to this album is so good. Oh my freaking goodness. It's not even a song. It's more of just a guy talking to you for like 3.5 minutes. But the sample in the background and the build up to it was just fire. It's a smaller album. It only has like 10 songs on it, I think. But oh my goodness, I enjoyed it fully. I definitely need to listen to this one more as well to pick out some songs I like. Because this was definitely an album I think I'm going to pull some songs off and add to some playlists. But I really enjoyed that. So check out Westside Gunn. If you like Westside Gunn, this is probably a great album for you. If you're like me and you've never heard him before, give it a try. I think you guys will all like it. It's pretty accessible, but also a little bit more serious rap as well. But also just, I don't know. He just kind of brings a little bit of everything on that album. I liked it a whole lot. Another super underrated album that I don't even know how I found. I saw a clip of them on Instagram where they were playing a little riff from one of their songs. And I was like, oh, I kind of like that. And I went in the comments and I was like, what's the name of this band? I found it. Turns out they had an album this year. The band's name is called Robot Monster, and their album is called Robot Monster. And it's really interesting about them. So this is a rock album, by the way. This is not rap. So if you're into rock or maybe you want to try out a little bit, this is a good album, I think. But they sound like they're like very new. Like they're just getting started. They sound like kind of like baby rock stars in a way. And I don't mean to say it to discredit their songwriting or their ability to frickin' just deliver on these crazy, disgusting guitar riffs and good drums in the background. And the vocalist, I think, needs to add a little bit more to his voice, but has a really good base and starting point for what I think is going to be. I think they're going to be a really successful like rock band, honestly. They seem like they have a lot of potential. They have one song on that album called Crashing. I believe it's the 5th song. And I have listened to that song so many times. Like I am not like I'm probably gonna know that song word for word soon. I love that song to death. So highly recommend you check out Robot Monster. Like I said, they're a new band just kind of getting started out. So hop on this bandwagon with me, and maybe in the next podcast when they drop a new single or a new album, I'll be able to talk about it, and we'll both be fans. We'll both start watching this band's journey into, where they're gonna go next. But some of it does sound kind of early 2000s rock, and like stuff you'd see in like 2007 Halo Skull Location videos and stuff like that. Shout out to everybody who's seen those videos back in the day, man. Frick. All those old game montages and whatnot. But I enjoyed pretty much the whole album. It was good. Nothing too crazy like, oh, they're competing with Metallica or anything like that. But the beginning of what I think will be an interesting journey for an interesting group of guys. So good on you, Robot Monster. Keep doing your thing. Now, we're also going to move into the fam questions, not fan questions, because y'all are family. So this is the fam questions. Starting off with my boy Eddie. He's asking, he asked me like what my top 3 songs off Her Losses and stuff like that. I'm already going to, like, all the questions you asked about Her Loss are going to be answered when I talk about Her Loss, which is coming up. So just be patient till then. Obviously, the timestamps are in the description, so if you would like to see a certain part, you just want to skip in here certain sections, you can just skip to that. But trust me, I'll give you my top 5. Then we also got a question from my boy Devin. He asked, what happens when the Glock is... Boom! Bang! You feel me? That's what happens. Then we also got... That scare you? I should have moved to the side, dang it. I'll get you in the next one. My boy Isaac asked, have I done a review of the Breezy album? I didn't even know this album came out. But what I can say is I do not like any Chris Brown songs. I don't dislike them. I don't hate them. I just have never Okay, that's a lie. I did play Fine China a whole lot growing up. But I'm not a big Chris Brown fan. For some reason, his music doesn't it hits me and I like it, but it doesn't stick with me. It's kind of like if you had like a wash pan, you were trying to get gold out of a river. You pick up the water and then you sift it through, then the gold is what sticks and then the water drips down. Chris Brown is like liquid gold, where it's like, oh, this is good. Oh, there it goes. It ran through the thing. Whereas other albums will stick and then I'll have them forever and whatnot. So I'll maybe give it a listen. I'm just really not that into Chris Brown. Every time I hear it, like at a party or it's like someone else is playing it, I love it. Like it's fun, but I never am in a Chris Brown mood. If I'm in a Chris Brown mood, then I'd rather just listen to Michael Jackson. I'm not saying that they're the same. Who's a better dancer? I'm not going to get into any of that discussion, but I do prefer just listening to Michael Jackson or rap, basically. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try it, but. Let me know what you think of the Breezy album down below, especially you being such a legendary dancer. Let me know how it hit you. Did it make you, is it a classic? Is it one of his best? Is it kind of on the lower side? Did it make you just start moving? What song made you immediately start moving? And because I'm not a Chris Brown fan, like at all, I haven't heard any of his albums front to back, let me know your favorite Chris Brown album. And I promise you, I will listen to it and I will review it in the next podcast. Just remind me. Thank you, Isaac. And then last but not least, we have a very interesting and thought-provoking question from my homie Mary. We used to go to school with. Mary, how you been? Hope you've been okay. Hope you've been doing good. She said, album cover versus album content in your relation. And this is really an interesting thing because I didn't even think of this. And I'm also going to turn down my light a little bit because the darker it's getting outside, the more bright I'm getting in the camera. Okay, just kidding. The light's already as low as it'll go. That's a really interesting question because I had to start looking back through album cover pictures and realizing like, okay, I've heard all that. Like if I just heard the music, how would I draw a cover? Which I think would be a fire idea. I hope some big YouTube channel does it to where they play a whole album from somebody and they're like, draw a cover based on what you heard. But there is some relation depending on if the artist wants it to be a relation. It seems like, I guess a more recent example, like Vinyl Days by Logic, it's just a picture of him sitting in a room with a whole bunch of vinyl all over the place. It kind of signifies, he was digging through the crates, listening to all his favorite music and all this music he has, and then he just kind of was inspired by his own music to make that album. Or It's Only Me by Lil Baby. The album is called It's Only Me, and first of all, the album cover is super fire. It's his face in different stages of his life, on like Mount Rushmore with him sitting by a river surrounded by goats. That is fire because he's basically signifying like I'm the best. I am the Mount Rushmore of hip hop right now. It's only me. And then you also have albums like To Pimp a Butterfly, which is all those that like huge group of all kinds of like black people and whatnot, like standing on I think it's Ronald Reagan in front of the White House and whatnot. That's obviously signifying a lot that has to do with kind of the album content that's packed into that record. So there's a lot in there. You kind of get a glimpse of, okay, this is going to be a little political, but then you get surprised because it's not just political rap throwing it in your face like, forget the government, they don't play and we're wondering where our tax money went. And you're like, what? Okay, wow, go ahead, Kendrick. Like, okay, relax. You're just protesting over a freaking beat. But no, it's actually, you guys already know it's my favorite album. But there's also albums like a lot of older, and I'll admit, rock and like metal have the best album covers of all time. If you just go into a vinyl shop and just look in the rock and metal section, and there's so many cool ways they express their art and the things they do. I think sometimes they just put in album art that just kind of is something they like or they think is cool, something that'll stick and make you like remember it. Like for example, God, what's a really good? Pretty much all of Metallica's album covers are really iconic and dope. Van Halen's got a lot of good ones as well. I think, or Holland. I think it's Halen, but I don't know. I always feel like I mess it up. And a lot of really cool album covers from them, but also a lot of indie and like albums you've never heard of. The cover art is just so cool and unique that it makes you want to pick it up and start listening to it. So I would check some of those out. Like Metallica. Well, if you haven't listened to Metallica's albums at all, then what the freak are you doing? Go through those real quick. But yeah, that's a really interesting question. And that provokes another question I have for you guys. What is your favorite album cover art? And /or what is an album cover art that you thought meant the album was going to sound a certain way and was like clickbait, or you were like, that is not at all what I was expecting from this? I don't know. Just let me know some of your thoughts and opinions on some album covers you like and whatnot. And I want to look at them. Sorry, real quick, had to make a quick little jump cut because I completely answered a question wrong and basically didn't answer it at all, and then did a little extra research. Shout out to Marianne, who helped me understand the question more. And that's from my boy Ichihara, or I think Landon is his name, and he's also my little brother's best friend, or one of the, I don't know, whatever. Do they know each other? Hey, keep doing good in school. He asked, Section 80 or Cold World, or what I know, it's the Sideline Story, or, Cold World. I don't know why I thought Cold World was a project I haven't heard before, but obviously I have because that's my favorite one. So which one would I prefer, Section 80 or Cold World? That is a really good question, though, because Section 80 that's like the beginning of Kendrick coming into form, It was like the goat is right in front of our eyes, but he's like a baby goat. He's not fully a goat yet. And the Sideline Story is my favorite J. Cole album, just personal preference. I have to go with the Sideline Story. I think that's probably the only time I would take a J. Cole album over a Kendrick album, because like J. Cole's best album isn't better than Kendrick's top 3 in my opinion, but that's just my own opinion. This is how it hits me. Well, I guess there is like For Your Eyes Only is that does contend a little bit, but no, just overall, no. Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly. I would even say Damn. Those 3 are all better than anything he's put out. Well, maybe Damn's not better than 2014. I don't know. It depends on what you like. But I do like the Sideline Story more. Just the first song on the album, that freaking beat is just so epic sounding and big in the atmosphere. And then, of course, all of his other classics from that are good. Section 80 has a lot of really good songs and whatnot. But the Sideline Story sounds more refined and finished than Section 80, which just sounded like, okay, I'm just getting into the scene. So thank you for that question. Literally, earlier I answered the question terribly. It was absolutely terrible. I was just like, I don't know. I've never heard the Cold World, so I guess Section 80. I don't know. So sorry about that. Moving on. Now we're going to talk about my friend's music recommendations. I can't remember the names. I can't even pronounce some of the names of these. So bear with me as I try to get these down. He sent me the credits song from Enter the Gungeon, I believe is how you pronounce it. Wasn't the biggest fan of that just because that's not usually my type of music that I like. Kind of like the intro beat to it, but then when the lyrics started kicking in, wasn't the biggest fan. He also sent me a really cool thing I've never heard before. Apparently, DJ Game song, There Is No Game, Wrong Dimension. Apparently, that was cool because from what I could understand, was the song is literally the way you interact with the game is the song. So I thought that was pretty sweet and dope. I enjoyed that. It was kind of cool, like watching all the interactions and talk about moves and just I don't know that was a pretty cool song. And then he also sent me two songs that basically are like some. One of them was an anime song. It sounded like called Magnolia by M2U. Or like I guess that's the demo or something. That was just like an epic anime like intro or outro song that is super iconic. To me, Naruto is the best anime music of all time, so it didn't replace that in my mind, but it was still pretty enjoyable. Thank you for sending that. And then also I can't even pronounce the fourth one you sent me. Uh oh my god. Near by Automata, I think it was. You know what you sent me. Thank you. I also enjoyed that too. That was kind of like a fight scene thing. So he sent me to them. I just told him that I would talk about it on the podcast so he can get my honest feelings about it. Hopefully, maybe you guys know some of that music and you can kind of relate. But thanks for the music recommendations, my guy. But now, while we're on the subject of reviewing friends' music, I'm going to review my friend Monky, also known as Wesley's music. He wanted me to review his music, and I thought I'd give it a thorough listen. He has 6 songs currently right now on SoundCloud. I'll go ahead and I'll put that link down in the description to his Instagram. And on his Instagram, you can follow him on SoundCloud. But I'm linking his Instagram. Oh, I'll link both. I'll do his SoundCloud and his Instagram, which he's a guy I went to high school with, and he wanted me to review. He's a little rapper starting out, or at least he made a couple songs, I think in 2020, and then some other songs recently. So I'm going to go through and review each one. If you would like to listen to his music first and then come back and then maybe give your own criticism or whatever down below, because the more feedback you get, the better you become and whatnot. But let's just talk about song by song. So your first song, Talk Too Much, it was an all right song. I wrote down still a little rough around the edges. I liked kind of a little bit of the delivery. And obviously, it's your first song. You're kind of just getting into the mix, or at least your first recorded song on your SoundCloud. Wasn't too crazy or too like, oh my God, this is amazing, or like, oh my God, this is garbage. It was still like, okay, this is kind of you feeling yourself out a little bit. And then you had Stuck on a Brr, or female dog. I'm trying to stay family friendly on the channel. Which that song Stuck on a Brr is my favorite vocal performance you had. I feel like, as I'll get into on some later songs, sometimes your vocal delivery doesn't really match the beat or needs more work, like maybe some more time practicing a little bit, like maybe like not take singing lessons and then go sign up for a class, but maybe just like pick some songs and sing them constantly that you enjoy. Maybe like find your voice a little bit. But I really like that vocal performance in that song. You layered your vocals a little bit, I think, in the chorus and here and there, which I really enjoyed. Which I really wish you did more in some of the other songs, especially some of the more recent ones. I feel like layering your vocals can add a lot and add more of a punch to it. I would recommend maybe. I'm sure you've probably listened to Mac Miller, but if you haven't, I mean, well, he sounds like he can sing anyway, but when you listen to him layer his vocals on certain points, it adds so much more to what he's saying and makes it so much more memorable. So definitely think about layering your vocals in a way. And then you have a song called Dirt, which I really wasn't a big fan of that vocal performance. It was a little off-putting and just not really my thing. And also the mixing and mastering of it wasn't very good. Just because the beat was so loud and you were so quiet, but it sounded like you were yelling, wasn't the best song in my opinion. So probably making sure that your audio was balanced well. I would also maybe recommend, and I'm reviewing this assuming you want to take music seriously and like build a career and whatnot out of it, or at least like kind of go far with it. I would highly recommend you invest in. There's got to be some local producer around where you live, because I don't think we still live where we grew up in. So I don't think you still live there, but if you do, there are producers around here who can mix and master and produce like your own beats that you can get onto music streaming platforms and start making money off of. So just look around locally, music producers and whatnot, see how much a beat is, studio time and whatnot, and really start putting in some more effort into like really like evolving your art and really evolving your music, because I think you have some good qualities that could make you a decent artist, such as I think you're at your best when you're making songs that you can just kind of vibe to, and there's some of your personalities in there. Like I get like some of your lyrics kind of gave me a little bit of insight into things you value and your morals and some like past life decisions and whatnot. But I think you'd be really good if you could just get a producer who could make a really like vibe worthy beat, and if you could write some songs like maybe some about some things you've been through in the past, or maybe how you've overcome different adversities, or maybe, songs where like, because I know you like to smoke and drink and whatnot, the songs you listen to and you do that, maybe try to mirror a little bit of some of that energy, not the lyrics or the beat or the sound, but mirror some of that energy, that feeling you get, and just really take some time to write down and really get an idea and work on your craft a lot. But moving on with some more of the songs, he also has a song called Some Mid for You. I like the idea of the song, and I really like the hook. I feel like it had a lot of potential, but it was also, I wasn't a fan of the beat. I feel like that was just too distracting. I couldn't get into the beat that much, which kind of ruins the whole song. And again, the terrible mixing of the audio being a little off and whatnot. But you sounded like you were at the beginning, like you were still in the rough draft of something that could have been really, really good. So I would probably check out some more mid for it and stuck on a little bit, and kind of taking the best out of those two songs, like the vocal performance from Stuck on a and then some more mid for you, and kind of finding that middle ground and really getting into it. But not too bad. And then your last song, the most recent song you dropped, was 1127, which obviously is you, Cresco, and Chen. I'm gonna review this as if in order of who appears on the song. So you're first. I believe Cresco is second and Chen is third. So starting off with you, I liked your delivery and decent energy. There you had, oh God, I can't remember it right now, but I think like the hook that you had was kind of stuck in my head for a little bit afterwards. I just think again, finding your voice a little bit more on it, and I think you're a little bit better when you're on like the lower, more chill vibe rather than like the loud, kind of, almost yelling music, because it sounds like a lot of times when you're trying to be really loud and whatnot, it sounds like you're trying to be louder and it's coming out as kind of like not squeaky, but just like not the right pitch. And I feel like I said on the song Stuck with a when you're in that lower like pocket, that lower duffel bag you got where you're just kind of sitting there vibing, I like that a lot more. Also, Cresco sounded really good voice wise. Like Cresco, just the sound of his voice matching on the beat was pretty good. The only thing is, you can tell maybe this is probably maybe his first time rapping. I don't know. I didn't check out Cresco at all on here. Fell off the beat here and there, and would sometimes like rush lyrics to fit him in. Like for example, I mean, I didn't write down the lyrics, but for example, if I was going like, "Hi, my name's Deshaun, and I'm doing a podcast. Some the bop bap, a doo 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 da dee da 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 bee da boop bop, and then I gotta do it because I'm trying to do this one of the da da da." Like some that'll be kind of thrown off. So I think he could work on that to make it sound better. But like he has his voice. He just has to really refine the lyrics. I'm not saying you have to be like a lyrical, spiritual, miracle whip, like, just like Butter. My rhymes are legit. Like you don't have to be some like crazy lyricist. Just lyrics that are like that pass by. They're like, oh, that's a bar, but it wasn't too crazy. But you're just vibing to it. Like 21 Savage. Like obviously you should have listened to Her Loss by then. So hopefully you did. I think Cresco can benefit a lot from listening to people like 21 Savage and whatnot, and really getting an idea of what I mean by refining lyrics to where it doesn't like, while I'm sitting there vibing to the way you sound on a song, it's not like all of a sudden you rush lyrics or you say something that wasn't really that fire, and then it like takes me out of the immersion for a second. When you sound like when you're making a vibe kind of track, you want the vibe to not be broken. It's like you're on a wave, right? Like you're just constantly waving and you're flowing. The moment you like fall off a beat or something, it's like a quick like jagged spike, and it kind of like, imagine it as a tube, and then you have your vibe going through the tube. It's like it breaks and then the seal's open. Then I have to mentally repair the seal before I continue on the flow. But by that point, like your verse is over. So do a little bit of that. And then Chen, I think Chen needs a lot more work just in general on the rapping. It just seemed like kind of like you wrote it an hour before you recorded it and then just recorded it. Like, nobody was like, oh, you should probably like workshop that a little bit. But I think you guys have some potential. I just, probably just hold each other more accountable and whatnot. Like, it sounds like from what I've heard, Wesley, you have, or I'll call you Monkey. Sorry, I'll call you by your artist name. It sounds like you have the most experience, and you're the like not the best, but the most comfortable rapping. So if you hear Cresco and Chen, you hear some stuff that maybe hit your ear weird. Don't be afraid to be like, probably work on that line a little bit. And the same thing goes for Cresco and Chen. If you guys hear something from Monkey or Chen or Monkey and Cresco, let her know like, oh, I don't know, that kind of didn't hit me the same. Like I feel like you could do that a little bit better. But like, no, let's do another take of that because I feel like you can kill that more. But be open to your own, be open to criticism as well. Because if you guys are really trying to do music seriously, and that's what I'm assuming you're doing, because my motto is there's no point in putting out music if you're not trying to be the best that you can be, or that has ever been, or whatever. Like, don't just put out music because you're bored. I think you guys have some potential, but Chen definitely got to get a lot better on staying on beat and having a better verse and maybe packing some substance in there. It sounded like it was just a lot of it almost sounded like you wrote that rap like it was for a school assignment. So it's like you had to write something that rhymed rather than you wanted to make a song. So you like wrote a verse that you really like and you can vibe with and it has your own personality in it. Because there wasn't a whole lot of originality in the song 1127. But I really think if you guys really just take some time and just one song, get a producer, find one anywhere or look online for a producer and have them make you a beat and buy the rights to it. Then really, and I mean really, really write down good verses. Make it a vibe track where all you guys are on there. Give each other some ad-libs. Layer your vocals on there. Have a beat drop or a beat switch. Like, have a producer make you two beats and it'll switch on over there. And then you just get in a whole new bag. And then drop that single. Because if you pay for the beat, then you can have the rights and whatnot. That means that you own, like, the copyright thing. So you can put that on Apple Music, Spotify, and some other streaming services and platforms, and there's other places you can put out your music, and then start getting paid back on your investment into your music, and start watching the numbers go up a little bit, because I think on your current track, with what you have on SoundCloud so far, Monkey, it doesn't sound like you're where you may want to be isn't going to come fast, or maybe not even come at all, because it sounds like not something stand out from SoundCloud. And I want you to be successful and to stand out on SoundCloud and like really make it, like you were saying, like a better future for your nephews. I remember something. If you want to do that, really start investing time into this. But if in that process you're like, I don't feel like I really want to do it, then don't force yourself to do it. Maybe wait till you feel it on you, you know? So thank you for sending me the music. Hopefully none of that came off as too harsh or whatever, but I'm just going to keep it honest, especially because you're my friend. I want you to do the best. I want you to be the best. And trust me, like I've made 2 songs before when I was like 15. They are not good. I don't like my verses at all in them. I think they're straight doo-doo. So, trust me, it goes both ways. I'm not talking from like, oh, I'm a better rapper than all you guys. Like that's not at all the case. I just want you guys to get better. So hopefully you enjoyed the review of that. But now, I mean, come on now. This is probably the part of the podcast everybody was waiting on, right? Like everybody was like, "Oh, this is the part we wanted." We're gonna review "Smithereens" by Joji. We're gonna get that out the way real quick. I'm just gonna, just kind of do my thing on that, give it its flowers. I want to talk about her loss. So, "Smithereens" by Joji is a freaking masterpiece. It is such a good freaking song and album, and oh my god, freaking A. Okay, "Glimpse of Us" is such a masterpiece of emotion in music. It literally almost made me cry the first time I heard it while I was at work. I'm not even exaggerating. Like oh my god. When you hear that song for the first time, it's like it hits you with emotions and it like makes you relive some pain but also helps you get some comfort and some closure on it. It's such a good song. But the whole album, like, he kind of stays in a little bit of a pocket where it's very much about like kind of love and it's a little bit lower, not lower energy, but quieter, slower. It's just so freaking good. Definitely, if you're like sitting in your room, it's raining outside, you have like your lights on in your room, like your Christmas lights or your light strips or whatever. You just want to hear a song that you just kind of lay there like on your bed and stare at the ceiling and think about too. This is such a good album for that. It's not even that long or that big of an album. There's only like 8 songs on here, and they're all good. Like, well, definitely no skips. I'll tell you that right freaking now. There ain't a single skip on this freaking thing. But yeah, there's only 9 songs on here, and it's 24 minutes total. Like, come on, you guys can take at least 30 minutes to experience a masterpiece of an album. This is the first full album I've heard from him. I know the song Run by him, and oh my god, I love that song. But this album is so good. And it literally is gonna make me, I'm gonna go through all of his other albums. Because I know my boy, I think it's Kevin, I think Brandon, and I think some other people have suggested, or at least posted, that they love Joji. And Joji is so freaking fire, man. To go from Filthy Frank, like a YouTube comedy genius, to being this freaking, oh my goodness, I don't even know how you do that. He's a legend and a half. So shout out to Smithereens by Joji. If I had to give that a scale of 1 to 10, that's going to be a fat 9. No cap. No cap. That was so freaking good. But I mean, come on now. What? We're going to talk about her loss now. This is literally my mom. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but right after I said that, my mom was like, what? Downstairs. Okay, my voice. Oh my god, Her Loss is such a banger. Yo, this is such a classic. It's already a classic for the year. It's already a classic for Drake. And it's already a classic for me in rap just in general. Because, oh my god, the first, what, like 5, 6 songs on here? The first, 5 songs are nothing but fire bangers, absolutely crazy production, beat switches. Oh my freaking goodness. Why was this album so good? Like, I don't even think you guys understand. This album was so freaking lit and vibey. Freaking Marianne was listening to it at 1 in the morning. She's like, what, you said you were cuddled up in your blankets, ready to listen to a little Drake and 21 album. Then you hear the beginning of the album, and it's like singing, you're like, oh, okay, soft little singing song. And then the beat comes in, you're like, wait a minute. And then the beat switches with the sticks and stones, grow on grow. That's just what a narrator's on. Oh my god! Holy freaking crap! The whole album is good. I'm not gonna lie, it falls off a little bit in the middle and a little bit at the end, just because the beginning is just straight freaking like, what are you all on? What are you guys doing right now? Oh. 21 does not miss. It's crazy. So many good bars, and Drake is just shooting at everybody. He just, oh, what you pop? You could tell he took on you can tell he took all the feedback and all the hate that he got on Honestly Nevermind personally. He just started firing off shots. He's dissing Ice Spice. He's dissing Meg the Stallion. He's dissing all these people. And okay. One thing real quick I do want to talk about. I don't want to get too into this. I'm seeing a lot of people are trying to like kind of cancel Drake and 21 and trying to say that this album is perpetuating hate towards women and whatnot because of the Meg bars. I'm gonna just say this about that whole situation. This is rap. They talk about everything. Once you decide you want to become a mainstream rapper, you are opening yourself to be dissed. And this has been like this in rap forever. There's nothing that can happen to you that somebody will not bring up in a song. I mean, what Drake's already been clowned before with the whole freaking the story of Adidon or whatever, where he got exposed for being a terrible dad and made him a dad, basically, made him be a good dad. Crazy. You look at No Vaseline, where you have him like Ice Cube just ripping apart freaking NWA. You have Hit 'Em Up, where Tupac is talking about somebody has sickle cells and that's why FJB, you fat mother, I would take money. You know, like, it's rap. Everybody talks about everybody all the time. I don't like how Meg is kind of playing a little bit of like a victim card. I mean, she has every right to feel offended and to speak how she feels. But to me, I think it'd be a better response if Meg just was like, okay, you want to talk about that? And came out with a diss track on Drizzy, and it was fire. That would be crazy. And that's how you would get hip-hop on your side. Playing the victim and whatnot is not it. And this is also coming from me who, like, I love watching battle rap in general, and they get disgusting disrespectful on that. So the more disrespect I hear, the more fire it is to me. And it didn't feel like it was out of pocket or out of left field. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. I'll let everybody else figure that out. I don't think he's perpetuating like women hate and whatnot. I didn't feel that. I didn't get a sense of that, but maybe it just hit people's ears a little different. So I don't know. I could have skipped over some lines that were pretty bad and whatnot, but all I'm gonna say is about dissing somebody. It's not smart to play like to try to take a victim stance on it because like trust me, we've been doing this in rap forever. This is not something. This is not some new concept. This has been like this for a long time. People have been dissing people, so just chill a little bit on that section. I don't think we should try to cancel. First of all, you can't cancel Drake. You literally cannot. So that's on y'all. But he's just taking shots at rappers like he takes shots at anybody. So welcome to hip hop. Anyway, I remember Eddie did ask for what my top 3 Her Loss ranking songs were. I was gonna literally rank the whole album, but a lot of the songs that I don't mess with that much, I just lumped them all in a group. I was like, I don't care which one's a little bit better or not. I don't care. So let me give you my top 5. Also giving an honorable mention. Off rip, the honorable mention is gonna be the Major Distribution song. That beat switch when the beat comes in is so freaking good. But it's not as crazy or hits me as hard as my top 5, but it's still such a banger of a song. Like, don't get me wrong, I may have certain songs over certain songs, but in no way am I saying that these songs are bad. These are all classic bangers, amazing, some of the best of the year, getting you in your energy mode like you're on it. So number 5 is On BS. That song, oh, it's that production on that, like, so good. Just hype me up, but it wasn't crazy hype me up because, well, I mean it was, but it was like I was already coming down from my hype up because of all these other freaking songs. Number 4 is Circo Loco, because gosh dang it, when somebody freaking samples Daft Punk, you already have won me over, but then you better do good on the freaking song. And then they decided, oh, we're going to bring the energy just off the freaking rip, dog. They just come right on in with the energy. And it's One More Time by Daft Punk, which I freaking love that song. I love that song, and it's such a good sample. They did such a great job with it. I love that freaking song. You just can't help but like dance or move or just like shake your head and make a nasty face. Like you just, like somebody just farted right in your nose. You're like, ugh. It's just like, what are y'all doing? The number 3 is going to be Middle of the Ocean. Now that was my number 1 song after my first listen, but the more I listen to these other 2, I was just like, I don't know. It doesn't hit me the same. But I love Middle of the Ocean because it almost feels like they were making the album, you know, making all these songs, and then everybody's like, all right, like wrap it up for the night, da 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 da, and then like Drake was just kind of standing there like, oh yeah, I'll catch up with y'all later. I just need to talk real quick, like, and they kept the producer like, hey, just put on this beat real quick, and you just get Drake just freaking just talking, just in his own element, in his own zone. Like prime 2015 Drake just sitting there rapping, and then the other beat comes in and you're just like, oh my god, Drake, what are you doing to me? Why is the second beat so fire? Oh my gosh. And it's so simple. It's just dun like, oh my god, Drake, what are you doing? But then it's probably I don't even know where the sample's from, but number 2 is Privileged Rappers. Oh my god, this beat is so good. Oh, just that. It's like trap kung fu. You feel me? Like it's just so fire, bro. I don't know. The way Drake and 21 are on that beat is so freaking good. It's so good. Oh my god. But obviously number 1. Like, do I even have to say it? Do I? It's 3 a.m. No, I'm totally kidding. It's obviously Rich Flex. What the freak? Are you kidding me? This song showed me off rip. This is a freaking classic album. Oh my freaking gosh. You start off with Drake just singing to you, and you're like, dude, oh, it's old Drake. Oh my god, I love this. It's so good. I love Drake so much. Oh my god, like this. Or no. I'm thinking of a different song. It starts off with the pay some about these dudes in the club, da da da. And you got Drake on there, and then You just the beat switch and 21 and Drake are sliding on their verses, and like I already said, sticks and stones, chrome on chrome, that's just what a knit res on. Like, oh my goodness, I was not ready for that at all because the album had so much hype. We were ready for it a week ago, and they're like, oh, so we're gonna have to push it off for a week, and we're like, what? Dang it, man. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they drop it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, Her Loss. And we all saw the album cover art. We were like, that is terrible. That is such a stupid album cover. That is so dumb. What the freaking heck is that? But then you heard that freaking song and you're like, oh my God, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. And it's even better. Oh my goodness. Rich Flex. It's impossible. I dare you. Try not to dance to that song or move your, like, just sit there and try to just listen to him saying sticks and stones, chrome on chrome, and don't move. How? Listen to freaking 21 Savage, who had the underrated Meg diss, or maybe reference. I don't know. I kind of consider it a diss because Drake was taking shots. Freaking 21 Savage saying, I'm a savage. Grabber, booty, and something else. But taking, like, what the heck are you on, dog? He's the only one who can flip that chorus. Because he is savage. He's 21 Savage. So saying, like, not I am a savage. I am savage. I'm savage. 21. What did 21 find when he got deported? What the heck did he find? Did he leave his rap book full of, like, classic verses? And he left, like, the Infinity Stone to never miss on a freaking feature ever in his life? And, like, when he got deported back to England and everybody's making all those tea and crumpet memes and making fun of him, he was like, okay, I found my stone and I found my rhyme book, and came back and was like, he's like, yeah, y'all like that song a lot? Well, guess what? I'm going to hop up, on the freaking the off season, and then, banger on there. Best song on the album? Well, I don't know. 95 South might be my favorite song on that album. But overall, just as a song. Banger. Then has his own little albums and whatnot. And then all these other little feature, like, 21, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you not missing? 21, you can miss. You know that, right? Like, you don't have to, every feature doesn't have to be fire. It's okay if you miss. Nope, he doesn't care. He does not listen to me. He doesn't listen to nobody. It was fire. And that is a classic album. Don't come at me. Don't ask me. I'm just telling you what I know. It's a classic album. That's all I have to say about it. So, freaking A, Her Loss. If I had to give that a scale, like a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give that probably an 8.5, leaning a little bit more towards a 9, just because, like, look, this is not a concept record. This is not reinventing the wheel. This is not groundbreaking. This isn't Drake's best album. This isn't even 21 Savage's like best feature verses. But it's just a freaking collection of absolute bangers and bops, and exactly what we needed. There's no way it's not going to break some crazy sale or stream record like Drake always freaking does, because he's the king of streaming. Can't take that away from him. And it's just the energy it gives me, and the amount of replay value I'm getting off this album is crazy. So I'm going to give it that. The only thing that would have made it a 10 is if every single song was an absolute classic, because I don't think there's a miss. I just don't think it's all classics. So, but that's really hard to do, because you gotta realize, I think my only 10 out of 10 rap album is probably, well, obviously, To Pimp a Butterfly is a 10 out of 10 for me. Other than that, I don't know. It's tough. There are other albums that are 10 out of 10s, like Thriller by Michael Jackson to me is a 10 out of 10. I'd even argue Off the Wall and Dangerous are 10 out of 10s. I mean, I personally, nowadays, I think I'd probably give Silk Sonic a 10 out of 10, just because it was so revolutionary for its time, kind of like bringing back that sound, and just everything around Silk Sonic's album like that is so good. I'm so, like, we have that on vinyl, right? Okay, yeah, we'll just make sure. Oh yeah, because I remember I posted on my Instagram story and I didn't realize that I didn't cover your address on the sticker, so it sat there for like an hour. I was like, oh, I had to take that off my story real quick. Yeah, I don't know. But let me know what you guys thought about any of the albums I was talking about, any of the questions I had, anything at all. Let me know. All that crap in the comments. I know you guys have been waiting forever for this podcast, but I really, really, really appreciate all the love and support on this podcast. You guys have been nothing short of amazing lately. I mean, you guys are always killing it in the support game, but especially lately, I've been really feeling the love, and I've really needed it. So shout out to all you guys. We got plenty more videos coming up. I know I didn't do the video I wanted to do for Halloween. I was gonna record it, but I think that video idea I'm gonna save in it for a couple of years from now, because I don't feel like it's old enough yet for me to wanna bring that idea back. But plenty more bangers coming towards you guys. I do have part 4 of the Modern Warfare 2 campaign playthrough already recorded. A little sneak peek into that. It's the all gillied up type mission, and it took me an hour to beat that mission because it's so packed full of crap to do, and I had a blast doing it. So letting y'all know, and I can't wait to continue that campaign. So after all that being said, it's been nothing but love, you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. There was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, blah.